Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Wolfe County Wolves Esports action from Wolfe County High School. Today's matchup features Wolfe County Wolves Blue versus John Hardin High School. This team we're going up against today is called, what are they called? The Void. So let's check in on our champ selection here. All right, so we're going to go over our starting lineup here. In the top lane, we've got senior Cody Sargent. Running bot lane, ADC is senior Jarrett White. In mid lane, we have senior Brendan Bush. In the support role, we have junior Jeremy McKinney. And in the jungle, we have junior Cameron Caskey. Let's take a look at our sponsors. We want to thank our sponsors this season: Appalachian Wireless, Mountain Telephone, Licking Valley Rural Electric, Farmers and Traders Bank of Campton, Whitaker Bank of Campton, and Sweetheart by Stephanie. So thanks to all our sponsors.
Do well.
All right, so we're going to transition over to the loading screen. Just leave it. It'll pop up. Audio's still on.
Yeah.
Should be fixed now.
Yeah, it was earlier.
Shoot, the picture was wrong.
That's fine. Okay, yeah, now we're in the loading screen.
What do you think about the late game potential for John Hardin here? From what I can see, they have two really good bruisers and one tank, even though one bruiser is going to be at a disadvantage early game. If they get to late game, it may snowball.
Yeah, John Hardin has some very late game damage or late game potential with the amount of tank that they have, be it with Garen as well as Jarvan. Nar's not going to build as much tank. He's going to build a decent amount. He's going to build more like a bruiser, so he'll definitely be where more of the damage will be coming from if he manages to get some of that early game off in his favor and manage to get fed. Although Wolfe Canyon Blue does have a pretty formidable amount of damage on their team as well, but being with Nasus, who can just infinitely stack with the Kennen and as well as with Vayne. Nunu, if he gets that early feed too, has been very noticeable in his last few games to get ahead and do a lot of damage. Right, and now we get into the load. The game is loading. Hopefully. Seems like the game is frozen for a sec on our end. It might just be on our end, though. Oh, yep, we're in the game. Champions have loaded into their respective fountains on their sides. Wolfe County Blue will be starting on red side, so there'll be that.
Wolfe County Blue's on blue side.
Oh, they're on blue side? Okay,
Yeah.
I just call it based on, that's what I've heard. But yeah, okay, Wolfe County Blue will be on the blue side, sorry. And now they go to their respective positions. The jungler for John Hardin moving up to take his red buff as Wolfe County Blue go for their blue buff. Or their red buff as well, so. Interesting matchup. Well, that's definitely a Gnar ADC. We see Wolfe County Blue pushing into the bot lane river, getting into Pixel Brush on bot side. We see Nasus and Kennen sitting towards top side with Jarvan, Ahri, and Garen. Jarvan moving into Pixel Brush, only a few steps away from Nasus. Nasus not going to be able to go in on that, though, because he saw Garen and Jarvan moving, and he wards the bush, as well as John Hardin. Managing to get an auto off on that ward, but not being able to get rid of it. So both teams now have vision of top lane Pixel Brush. Sona and Nunu moved into the enemy ADC's jungle, going to try and get that early cheese for stealing John Hardin's blue buff from their jungler.
Yeah, this could pose to be really important for the blue team because they definitely have a more early game oriented team comp, so they're going to want to end this soon. So this invade could definitely pay off for them.
As we see Wolfe County Blues jungler as well as bot lane going and getting an early blue buff steal from John Hardin. We see bot laners from John Hardin pushing up the lane, warding the bush as ADCs as the bot lane for Wolfe County moves up to their lane. We see Jarvan moving up, after taking his red buff to his Krug camp. Nasus and Garen pushing into the top lane. Pretty slow farm there. Kennen and Ahri trading some damage a little bit in the mid lane. As well as bot lane, Sona managing to get a Q off landing it on Gnar. Garen landing that Q on Nasus. Actually not trading him a little bit there, and that little bit of a trade, but not much because it's very early in the game. Garen being very aggro on Nasus, this will be very impactful. If Garen can continue to keep being this aggro on Nasus, that might be able to put him at a disadvantage. Yep, managing to go for every auto that he can. You see the farm being traded fairly evenly in the bot lane. As Gnar manages to actually miss a couple right there at the end. Now Jarvan moving into Wolfe County's jungle. Going for that blue steal for Wolfe County. Managing to trade blue buff steals. Is going to be able to get it, though. You should be able to get it, no problem. There's no resistance from him. Because Kennen manages to push him top lane and electrocute off, as well as that QW combo on Ahri. Nasus being pushed back in the top lane as Jarvan secures Wolfe County's blue buff, and Nunu secures the red buff. Kennen staying in the mid lane, Garen pushing back up, as Nasus farms under his tower now, just securing that farm with absolute certainty. We see Kennen in the mid lane as Nunu manages to go for an early gank. Kennen getting hit by the Ahri charm, though, as Nunu goes in with the snowball landing it. Ahri forced to flash. Nunu going with the auto is going to secure the kill as he manages to get a bite on, getting first blood, forced to be a flash away from the Jarvan. Jarvan following up but not being able to secure anything out of that. Kennen managing to land some autos, trading with Jarvan. Is he going to be able to actually turn around? He lands the Q, he goes in, landing the W. Jarvan turning around with the QE combo as well as the shield. Kennen forced a barrier as well as he getting a kill on the Jarvan. Good trade from mid lane, and in the mid lane from Wolfe County Blue, securing that kill 2-0, not losing a single thing in the fight. Managing to blow a couple of spells, but well worth it in the long run. A really good advantage for Wolfe County, putting them already at a well over 1,000 gold lead. We see now as Jarvan and Ahri have to move back into the lane. Ahri pushed back up, having her lane pushed back pretty far under her tower, having to farm from there. We see bot lane on both sides being pushed pretty evenly. Wolfe County Blue having a slight push advantage in the bot lane. Nasus being, on the other hand, pushed back a little bit in the top lane. We see Kennen now being able to having managed to back it. It was a pretty good amount of gold from that trade, buying the first parts of what appeared to be his proto belt. We see, let's check the farm for a second. Farm is even in the top lane, surprisingly enough, even with the amount of aggro that Garen has been against Nasus. Nasus has been able to farm very well, showing the amount of control that Nasus has in the lane, even though it may not look as such. We see the Nunu gank in the top lane. Nasus coming behind Nunu, landing the snowball with the snowball barrage. Garen forced the flash, managing to still get snared as Nunu bites. Garen landing a Q on Nasus. Nasus forcing the flash and landing it with a Q to secure the kill on Garen. Good job there on Nasus, top laner from Wolfe County. We see now John Hardin push back under their lane in the bot lane. We see some mid lane. We see Nunu coming in for another gank in the mid lane potentially. No, after sadly having to be forced off. We see Jarvan in the Wolfe County bot lane taking the Wolf camp from Nunu. He'd probably be able to secure that fairly easily. As Vayne and Sona push up in the bot lane. Garen being pushed under his tower in the top lane. We see Nasus freezing the farm around mid lane, or the middle of the lane. We see Jarvan now moving towards mid lane as Nunu passes through, warding ward from as Kennen and Nunu follow into the bot lane jungle. Are we going to see an engage in the bot lane? We are not, as they push away. Garen forcing a pretty heavy amount of aggro on Nunu or Nasus in the top lane. Kennen getting hit by the charm as well as the WQ combo from Ahri in the mid lane, taking a fairly noticeable amount of damage in that trade there, managing not to be able to get off much anything. We see Jarvan now back in his bot lane jungle going for some easy camps. We see bot lane push pretty evenly. Garen still in the top lane. Nasus already level 6, managing to get that though from that really well placed gank from Wolfe County's jungler. Sona in the bot lane just managing to land some more poke with that Q. We see Jarvan potentially moving in for a mid lane gank as Ken is pushed up pretty heavily in mid lane. Might need to watch out for that. Managing to get missed by the Q from Ahri. Landing the the EWQ combo on Ahri, forcing her to get stunned as well as take some electrocute damage. Very good trade there on Wolfe County's part. In the mid lane, we see Jarvan now taking his Wolf camp and on his top side jungle. We see John Hardin a bot lane push under their tower pretty heavily. As bot lane for Wolfe County being able to back for having a pretty secure back right there. Let's go ahead and check the farm for momentarily as we see Nasus with a 10 CS lead in the top lane. We see again the orders are swapped. That fixed it. All right. We see now Jarvan a slight CS lead. Oh, never mind, just being taken as Nunu managed to secure his blue buff. As Jarvan goes for Nunu's blue buff. Man, these jungle trades for these invades are relentless. We see now Kennen having an almost 10 CS lead in the mid lane as Vayne has a slight CS lead in the ADC. As rolls in, we see an invade from Nunu. He lands the snowball on Gnar. Gnar forced to flash as Vayne secures the kill. We see Kennen ulting in the mid lane to secure the kill on Ahri as Janna forced to run away. Very good engage in the bot lane as well as mid. There's a lot of action going on. I mean, this camera can only aim at one group at a time, so these people need to slow down if we're going to be able to see all that action. But sadly, nonetheless, it's still going very well for Wolfe County. As we see Garen getting some poke on top lane from Nasus, which isn't doing much in the long run. We see Sona and Nunu going for the first dragon of the game. Vayne keeping pressure in the bot lane, making sure no one is able to invade. As Nunu's going to go and manage to secure the first Drake, which will be a Cloud Drake. A decent Drake to get in early game. Jarvan managing to EQ combo over the wall to get away from Kennen, which is an understandable play, wanting to get away, don't want to take any more damage than he has to. Garen going in with the Q, landing it on Nasus, going with the E follow-up. Nasus being silenced as he manages to have to back off, taking less damage, queuing the minions for some pretty easy farm. We see Ahri in the mid lane, Kennen pushing up pretty heavily, Jarvan farming his Wolf camp. We see now Sona and Vayne still relentlessly pushing that bot lane, giving them absolutely no chance to push back up at all. As we see Nunu taking his red buff in the bot lane, we see Jarvan push down towards the bot lane as he decides to immediately give up and move back towards the farm some more. We see Kennen in the mid lane pushed up easily against Ahri. We see Nasus in the jungle warding his blue buff, or warding his jungler's blue buff this time, actually in preparation for the event that Jarvan might take it for a third time. We see Nunu pushing up into using a snowball to get up the lane as he goes to secure his first of his actual blue buff for this entirety of this game. We see again bot lane pushed up very heavily. Sona lands some pretty solid poke there on the Janna. Let's go back. Okay, Jarvan now having backed, push back, or going back as he decides to go to his top lane jungle. Are we going to see another gank? We're seeing another gank in top lane as we see Nunu going in with Nasus. Nasus landing the Wither on Garen. Nunu landing the giant snowball as well as the barrage. Nasus landing a couple of Qs for heavy damage. Garen queuing to no avail as he E's. Nunu running under tower, getting a bite. Nasus ulting. As he gets to eat, getting taken down. Nunu taken down by the Garen from tower aggro. Kennen getting a 1v2, or Kennen doing an ult double kill in the bot lane as well. Nasus absolutely demolishing Jarvan as he manages to get taken down from the minion aggro. That minion aggro was very unfriendly to Nasus there in that trade. He secured Garen, but sadly the minion aggro was just far too much for him to handle at that situation. He was just in a bad place at that time, but. Nonetheless, a decent trade there is a very well-deserved trade on both ends. 3 for 2, actually. Putting now Kennen currently sitting at 4-0 in the mid lane versus 0-2 Ahri. Let's go ahead and check the farm real quick. Nasus having a 25 CS lead against Garen in the top lane. We see Nunu having an even farm with Jarvan. Mid lane, we see an almost 30 CS lead in the mid lane, as well as a 30 CS lead in the bot lane. A noticeable CS lead heavily in favor of Wolfgang at this point. There's almost a 5,000 gold lead. As we see Nunu going with the snowball mid lane. The Q landing on Ahri from Kennen there, but forcing Ahri to ult. We see Nunu going, and we see Ahri ulting over the wall as Jarvan and Ahri try and potentially chase Nunu, but not going to be able to follow up on that as Kennen manages to follow up, making it a 2v2 in the mid lane. Nasus top lane getting poked down by the Garen E, as Garen forced to back off a little bit. Nasus just pushing up as he lands a Q, doing a heavy amount of damage there on the Garen. We see the Wither going off on Garen as Nasus lands another Q as well another. Nasus ulting, Garen forced to flash as Nasus decides to back off and farm for a while. We see now the bot lane for John Hardin actually pushed up away from their tower. We see Gnar ult moving in as he manages to miss the ultimate on Vayne. The ultimate miss from Gnar on Vayne. We see Nunu going again, landing the snowball. Nasus landing a Q. Nunu landing the snowball barrage as Nasus secures the kill with an auto on Garen. Very good ganks from Wolfgang. I mean, no one seems to really take notice of the amount of effectiveness that Wolfgang has with their Nunu jungle. Like, the last several games he's played as Nunu, he's done very well, and no one seems to take notice of that. Anyway, let's get back to the rest of the game. We see now bot lane pushed up, bot lane for John Hardin pushed back a little bit. We see Jarvan coming in from the back in their bot lane as he goes to lay down a control ward. He lands an EQ combo on Vayne, being condemned back via the Vayne. Sona landing to get a speed boost on Vayne there, getting her safely out of harm's way. We see some decent trades going on in the mid lane. We see Nunu and Nasus now going for the Rift Herald. As we see Jarvan removing a ward in the jungle. We see Kennen moving down towards jungle to potentially ward it as we see Sona and Vayne converging, collapsing on Jarvan. As Jarvan goes in over the wall between Sona and Vayne. Vayne ulting, Jarvan ulting to Sona. Sona forced to flash. Kennen landing a Q on the securing the kill. See Gnar going over the wall, mentioning missing ult. Sona ulting Janna, getting the kill. As we see Nasus teleport in from the top lane and land a Q on Gnar to get another kill. Very good converging there from Wolfgang Blue as they now drop the Rift Herald in the bot lane. Going to go and try and secure that first tower. We see Nunu going in the mid lane, landing a snowball barrage, getting it off on Ahri, getting charmed, managing to not do nothing as Kennen manages to come in and just absolutely melt her with that QW combo. Very well played from mid lane. Nunu just absolutely just dominating in these ganks, man. Absolutely well played. We see now as the first tower is going to fall in the bot lane with a almost 10,000 gold lead. 13-2 with a Cloud Drake in the favor of Wolfe County. That is a 9,000 gold lead in favor of Wolfe County. That is absolutely amazing. We see now Nunu managing to hold off the fort in the top lane. We see Nasus landing a Q, one Q on Nunu alone, or on Jarvan alone, absolutely shredding me. We see Vayne going with those auto attacks. She tumbles, getting another auto. She's getting another silver bullet, managing and getting off and flashing away from tower, but taking too much tower damage, sadly, but giving the kill to Janna, which is a perfectly fine trade. Giving that kill to Janna is a well worth it for what she managed to get out of that. Rift Herald falling down in bot lane as well, but managing to secure 1.5 towers with it. A very strong push. Ahri managing to land her charm on a minion, not being able to hit Kennen. We see now as they go for a Mountain Drake, Wolfe County's entire team in the bot lane. We see Nasus securing Jarvan's blue buff as he now decides to back. Nunu going for the dragon. Kennen push up in the mid lane. Ahri being forced to back. Garen split pushing in the top lane, but not really being able to accomplish much at this point. Vayne now going back towards her lane as she leaves Fountain and going back towards bot. Nasus going back towards top lane. See Janna and Gnar trying to invade the Nunu as Nunu secures a Mountain Drake. Very good on their part. Nasus, that Drake overall is giving them a little bit more sustainability in the game, which they can very well use. We see Nunu now turning around, going for the snowball, getting smited by Jarvan as he lands a snowball on both. As we see Kennen going in with the ulti engaged, securing the kill on Jana. We see an ult from Sona as Gnar Flash is still getting hit by a majority of that Nunu ult, getting finished off with the bite as Vayne comes in there and finishes off Jarvan. We see Nasus ulting, managing to land a Wither on Garen as he goes to Q him, and landing another Q as well, just absolutely shredding him. We see a 3-man conversion, Nunu landing the snowball, Vayne tumbling in, as well as getting an auto attack off to finish off Ahri, acing John Hardin. 19-3, 11,000, no, sorry. An 11,000 gold lead in favor of Wolfe Kenny, just absolutely dominating. Let's check the scores real quick as well as CS. Nasus having a 30 CS lead against Garen. It's 5-1. We see a farm pretty evenly on both sides for the junglers, but Nunu sitting fairly well above it at 2 win and 8 assists. Really well done on those ganks there as Nasus secures the tower in the top lane. As well as that demolish rune. We see Kennen sitting 7-0 in the mid lane against an Ahri, up 40 CS. We see the ADC Vayne sitting 4-1 with a almost 40 CS lead against the Gnar, and both support sitting pretty well, with Sona having not died, having given 10 assists, doing very well, assisting her team. We see now as Garen and Jay in the top lane. We see Nasus sitting between the two as he goes for the Krug farm. Jarvan sitting on the other side of the wall. As he goes over the wall, Nasus being able to back a little bit. Nasus getting the Wither off on Jarvan as he manages to land a Q on him before going over the wall, almost chunking a third of his health with that one auto. We see Nunu now going into the bot lane with a snowball, managing this wall, landing the stun on Gnar. Gnar jumping over the Vayne, but managing not be able to do anything. Kennen ulting in the mid lane, blowing his barrier, as well as getting a stun off, securing the kill on Ahri. We see Nunu chasing Jaina up the bot lane. We see him activating the snowball, tanking tower, Vayne ulting. They really want this kill as Nunu lands the snowball. Vayne going under tower, trying to get some of that damage, but sadly they're not going to be able to finish up on that. We see Jarvan trying to move down towards bot lane to see if he can do anything about it, but he's going to have to back off because they're already out of range of him to be able to engage on that. As well as him not wanting to really engage on a 1v3. Nasus just sitting in the top lane, just absolutely just tanking all that Garen damage that he just farms just all day long. We see Kennen and Gnar now pushed up Kennen and Nunu pushed up in the mid lane, as they try and secure the second mid lane tower. We see Vayne back in the bot lane as she backs off, gonna go farm while she split pushes, securing some very easy farm. They can always do that very well. As we see now Ahri, Gnar, and Jarvan sitting in the mid lane. As we see Nasus getting hit by a charm. Nunu laying a snowball missing as Nasus just absolutely demolishes Ahri. Jarvan ulting, Gnar jumping over, Kennen securing the kill on Jarvan, and Nasus just shredding the Gnar. We see now Garen coming in from in the mid lane trying to stop anything. He ults, it looks like Gnar might be able to do anything. Nasus going after Q, forced to flash. We see Kennen securing the kill on Garen. Absolutely, just so much going on right now. It's hard to really explain everything that's going on at once. I've seen not much more action going at the same time. We see a tumble from Vayne as well. We see Kennen going with that Protobelt Q combo to secure the kill on Jaina. Very strong. As we see them now secure the mid lane inhib, pushing up with no resistance at all. Gnar just respawning as well as Jaina as well as Jarvan, and Ahri now pushing up. Kennen trying to get some little bit of extra damage on that tower. Ahri trying to push up. Jarvan trying to, as well as the three of them having to force to defend their lanes or defend their Nexus towers. Very good push there on part from Wolfe County, as they are now able to back well equipped with plenty of gold from that last little skirmish they just achieved. In terms of difference in scores, we have Nasus sitting at 7-1 versus Garen at 1-5. Nasus almost with a 50 CS lead. We see Nunu sitting 2-1-13, just getting assists left and right, able to gank every lane very effectively with a pretty even CS. We see an 11-0 Kennen in the mid lane, man, absolutely demolishing, especially with that ulti, man, him landing ults left and right. We see Nasus ulting the top lane, just destroying Garen there with another Q and another Q. We see another Q getting smited by Jarvan, trying to be stopped, but it's not going to be able to do anything as he gets EQ comboed. He goes in and tanking tower, landing another Q on Garen, just securing that kill, absolutely shredding him. We see Kennen ulting, getting a double kill mid lane on the Ahri and Jaina. We see Gnar coming in trying to do anything, but Kennen securing a triple kill in the mid lane. Absolutely monstrous. Jarvan going away, trying to run away, getting warded. Him ulting and managing to not get away from Jarvan, or getting away from Nasus. Nasus should be able to do too much damage at this point. Nasus is currently at that point where he's just unstoppable with the amount of stacks that he has, as well as that just crazy amount of damage. We see now Wolfe County Blue pushing up, secure the first Nexus tower. It's going to be an easy kill, and now they're going for the second Nexus tower, and they are going to finish it. Nasus being forced to flash because it takes too much tower damage. Jaina trying to push up, trying to throw a tornado, trying to be able to stop anybody, but not going to be able to do anything as Wolfe County secures a very easy Nexus. Sona landing an ulti, but that's going to be it as Wolfe County secures Nexus. at 31-3 in under 20 minutes. Absolutely monstrous from Wolfe County. Almost 20,000 gold lead at the end of it, too. Amazing from Wolfe County.
Do you want to hear from your brother?
Yeah. All right.
Let's go back to...
So we're here today with the player of the game, Brendan Bush, who ironically enough is my little brother. Learned most of his skills from me, but nonetheless, we're going to here to talk to him today about the amazing plays he did. So how do you think you did mid lane versus what? How do you think overall your team performance was this game?
Solid all around. Another fast game we played. Very aggressive game. Even though we went for another late game comp this time. We went for the Nasus and the Vayne, and everything still worked out, and we were able to really show what we have in lane.
Now, one thing that was interesting enough was their team comp, specifically in having a Gnar ADC. How did that at all like change your all strategy of how you're going to approach being able to come victorious in this game?
It gave us a sense of ease because Gnar's been weak lately, just overall, like in the recent patches. So we kind of thought to ourselves, well, if we can just keep them at bay. We knew they were going to be aggressive though, because Gnar's kind of all in. He's good. He's good for just big bruising like fights, and so. It was pretty fun, I think, and we knew what they were going to do, so we were just able to counter that.
All right. One more thing. Was there anything specifically that stood out in any of those specific team fights, like that you just felt were like definitive, like this is the finisher right here?
Cameron's snowballs every time. He sets up our team fights so well. He's just all around just overall MVP most of the time because he just does so much kill participation wise and just overall just damage in terms of his objectives and his actual fighting damage is really good, and he's the reason we win a lot of these games.
I've said that multiple times. There's like throughout this game that he has a very impactful score in almost every single game you all play when he plays Nunu, and yet no team seems to ban him. You think there's a specific reason why people try to avoid banning Nunu?
They don't really see Nunu as... I don't think they see him as this threat, this big asset to a team fight. He's really underestimated.
All right.
But other than that, I'm glad. I'll stick with it.
All right.
If I was Cameron, I'd stick with it.
All right. That's awesome. Well, thanks. This has been Play of the Game. Brendan Bush. Thanks for watching, and stick around. We'll be starting the next game in a few minutes.